morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, our viewers for today. This is yet another and closing segment of what has been a really awesome conversation that has taken its sweet and very intentional time and has been brewed appropriately, just so that we can juice out all the beautiful nuances to what a journey of hope looks like. And with me on this segment, closing the segment, we have Lucy Wanjiku Njenga, who began with telling us about her story and telling us about her upbringing and some of the events that took place as she continued to grow in her journey in life. And we closed off where she began to tell us the story of her child coming into her life and now navigating this transition. But before we get into the juicy and very interesting and also captivating parts of her story, let me just give her an opportunity to reintroduce herself. So Lucy Wanjiku, you can go ahead and say hello to our beautiful guests for our people joining us for this session.
Hi everyone, I'm really glad to be back, Rafiki. I love the connotation of brewing, taking time. This has really taken time, and I'm glad to be back on this seat for us to cover the milestones that we left off. And yeah, I've been waiting for this. To be honest, I was going to. I think I did one other podcast that I felt like I was betraying you. So I'm really happy for us to finish this strong.
No, I hear you, and I'm very grateful that you did come through. And yeah, there's been quite a bit of activity between the last session we had and today. For those that may be wondering, oh, these guys look different. Yeah, we even had to VUCA the year before having this session again. But I'm just curious, given that the festive season just ended, how was your Christmas? How was it chilling with family and all that jazz?
I enjoyed this Christmas, by the way. We did our usual travels. So we're from different parts of the country. My granddad, as I mentioned last time, is in Morana. Sadly, he passed on 2023 November. So going back, that was hard, but it's also interesting because I got to be home. There's just something about Morana. Then we went to Nakuru to see my mom. Then we went to Namanga to see my in-laws, and then came back home. I felt like it all happened too quick. I didn't rest as much as I thought I would rest. Yeah. But all the same, it was really enjoyable time with family.
Namanga? I've never been to Namanga.
Namanga is hot. It's where my in-laws stay is at the border of Tanzania. So we cross over to Tanzania and shop and come back.
Oh, really?
So it's like a walking distance of sorts.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
I mean, I asked that because I know there's a group that normally does hikes, and there's a time they advertise doing a hike there, and I really wanted to go. I didn't get a chance to, but hopefully, New Year, comes with new aspirations. So hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to do so.
It's a really nice place, and it's kind of quiet. It's Ushago so yeah, I would urge you to go.
Has your daughter been there before, multiple times?
Yes, we have been there multiple times. And also she turned 9, so...
Oh, she turned 9?
Yes.
Did you, wait, when's her birthday?
November 1st.
Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. So about to hit double digits and then from there,
Yeah.
It's just, I think,
pray for me.
Because you're also going to be raising a teen.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I can tell you for sure, I don't know if my parents enjoyed that period. Between 10 and 20, but then you see, just as your book references, hope. It's all about hope.
So waiting for better days.
Yeah, no, but the days will be good. The days will be good.
Yeah.
Now, in continuing with the story that we were telling, I think it was very captivating. For those that weren't here to see what was happening behind the scenes. I mean, the guys that were behind the scenes that were listening to the story, the level of just the way they were so captured by the events, it was so telling in their eyes. We're here having a conversation and you can just to the side of your eye, just see how people are just like, oh wow, this is amazing. And so it's such a privilege to get the opportunity to proceed with the story of your life. But then also in this session that we're having, because there is a strong intention around ensuring people get a chance to read the book. You know, we want to now get to what was the journey for hope that you you know, that you went through, that allowed you to build a sense of hope out of the things that you went through. But before we get to that pivot of the conversation, it's important to, at least for our viewers, and bridge that gap between the last session and the current session. What sharing the events after you had the child, right? Which in itself is a milestone, right? And it's an amazing milestone. But yeah, it's also a new life. I mean, I think everybody's life before and after having a child is generally not the same.
Sure.
But at the time you were young.
Yeah.
And your circumstances, at least from an economic perspective, were not the most favorable for anyone that's finding themselves in that situation.
Sure.
And you were sharing us with that, you were sharing with us that part of the story. So let me pass over the mic and I'll have you continue from there.
Sure. Thank you. So David came into the world, and here he was, a bundle of joy. Any parent can tell you that those are one of the days that you like. There's a word people use. They imprint on your psyche like forever. And I saw that it has something to do with DNA, because somehow you leave your DNA in your parent or something like that. So for me, Davy was coming into the world was a new opportunity in hoping for better life, hoping for the best for him. But also it was very scary. I think I had mentioned that in the previous interview that we had. But I wanted to do right by him. That one I remember. In as much as it was very scary, I wanted to do better by him. And I don't know now. Sorry. Mom came. After I gave birth, Mom came.
Right.
I think I said that.
Yeah.
And the way I remember was like I would only equate it to Superman coming and saving the day. That's
Right.
how I felt that day when Mom came. And she paid the bills, and she brought clothes, a lot of clothes, because I didn't even have a pair of socks or even anything to wrap.
Yeah, I remember you said you didn't even get diapers. Like,
yes, I had none.
the baby came and it's like, oh, by the way.
I knew I needed this. I just I didn't have a way of bringing, and I also didn't know the power of community that I had at the time. I was feeling I was covered and drowned in so much shame, because I had done everything that was opposite of what we were told. When I was in Scotch, remember we went through a training where we were told to abstain, save yourself for marriage. This also was the conversation at church, at school. You're supposed to abstain, right? And I thought I did abstain until 18, for sure. I had tried to abstain as much as possible. And I also didn't have the tools to negotiate for anything, not for safe sex and not for not having sex. The only way I would do that is run away from a relationship if sex was brought into the picture. But this one I could not. Right. So here he was, and I wanted to do right by him, and Mom took me to her friend, and so that helped. And now I had to now start thinking of what I needed to do, and I was busy looking for a job. Nothing was forthcoming. People would not give you anything with a child that young. As I was just trying to figure out what to do with that, a friend approached me and said they're doing entrepreneurship course.
Yeah.
Yes, and that really made me feel like I could actually recover anything that I thought I had lost.
Yeah.
So I quickly joined that and started with those sessions as quickly as possible, and it would take around 6 months. And I was thinking 6 months before anything. but this would probably, hopefully, pay off at a later time. He was still growing, and when he was around 3 months, he started coughing. I didn't know, like you are told, mtoto gonjeka, so this is normal, so just go see, things will be better. The hospital I could afford was the country hospitals. Usually, I don't know if it's different now, I hope it's different now, they give you a prescription for almost all medication, other than painkiller, malaria, those ones they might have. But this one, they told me to go and buy drugs from outside. I did not have a job, I did not have money, the dad did not have money. I could not ask more from my parents because my mom's friend had now said, you go back home, I am not able to take care of you anymore. And that was not said in words. It was said with coming to her house and finding only my clothes left, like she had moved. And she had left my clothes only in the babies. So I had to go back home. So while thinking what to do, going to hospital and nothing is happening, trying to tell everyone and anyone I'm looking for a job, finally I got, I think, an outside catering gig. I go and help serve and all that, and then I got medication. Helped for like 2 weeks, then the coughing came back again. At the same time I'm maneuvering home, Dad is not very happy with me being there, and I didn't know what else to do, so I would just hope it would pass, because there's nowhere else to go. But then around December of 2012, around Christmas, I asked a friend if I could go to their house, and she said yes I could. And when I went, I never went back home. So we stayed there, and I felt Davy was getting more love than what I could give him, so that was really exciting. My friend, Jackie, really embraced that child, and I'm forever grateful for her for that. And then the coughing is not stopping. The coughing is not being managed by the things that I was doing, and people were coming in. I remember there's a friend of Jockey's who used her insurance to get him treated and still did not work. So fast forward to January 2012. This was December 2011. January 2012.
Yeah.
We went to cervical cancer screening, which was a new thing. I was not even sure what they were doing, but it would get money from Joki's mom, so that was enough for us to go, as she was a mobilizer in the community.
Yeah, I see.
So we were part of the people who were mobilized to go and get screening. We got screening, and at the same time they said they are doing HIV testing. And I thought, when I was pregnant, I went to hospital, I was tested. I was negative because they did once. Now they do more times, then they only did once. Now they do, I think, for every antenatal visit. Then they did when you joined, and not again. So I went and got tested, and the guy said it's positive, the counselor. And I thought, you must be mad. Let's do this again. This is your test, and you both had, no, something is wrong.
Right, and it was something that, and it was a real experience that you went through, right? And it's something that I would imagine other people have gone through experiences in their own lives that have done the exact same. But what's interesting about the story that you have is that the darkness around you gave you clarity for the light at the end of the tunnel, because that's just like a shift in perspective. But then there are those sparks for you. So you've talked about an entrepreneurship class, which was a piece of what that light looked like. Yeah, you've talked about the lady that helped you within the journey that you're going through, and then now you've talked about this other beauty pageant thing that you did. And that one sounds like it was explosive, you know?
Yes.
And so, so for that one that you did, how did you get to hear about it again?
So when I was Miss Dimes, the people who were training us, they would always share. So I don't know even how they got to me, but somehow I got this information. Maybe probably someone called me or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Janet, my friend, who were doing the pageantry.
that
but
reached
I
out.
got that information. Yeah.
And then from there, that's when now you have this session. So you did not win.
Yes.
But then now, whatever was, it's interesting. In life, we all have something that it's like there's something burning within you that just needs a bit more flame. And that session was for you like flame.
Yes.
So what?
It was like the battle of Jiko.
Yeah, it's like fanning.
Fanning.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's fanning a zeal that was once covered. But what did that zeal then build for your life?
It gave me an opportunity to see myself for who I truly was. When I was doing Miss Dimes, Miss Scotch, and even this Miss Fabulous, I think I was just trying to find an escape. I still wasn't sure of why I was doing it or if I wanted to continue with it. Very early on, I figured I don't think I would want to do this full time, being a model. I don't think that's what I went looking for. So it just gave me an opening and broadened my network, which I could not put into words then because I did not know that is something you even do. But that is exactly what it did. It brought the likes of Roslyn, Aurora, who was a widow, and Philip Bugo from NOPE, National Organization of Peer Educators. And these people also now open the next level of the people that I got to meet. So for me, I've realized like life is sort of steps, but steps upwards. And you might think you're the one who's taking the steps. If you don't have people around you showing you like this is where you need to go, or this is what I did and you can do this too, you probably won't see it. So I call them my destiny helpers. Yes. I call them my destiny
I wanted to
helpers.
jump on that so hard because I had a conversation with someone recently and they were like, this phrase has been used in many other ways, but you know how your group sort of defines you? But then it's also interesting because if the pack that you're in can also form you, you know what I mean? So it's in a sense where you do, if you are intentional about surrounding yourself with certain people, in as much as you don't reflect their characteristics, there is a way with which you will begin to, it's like you will learn by proximity how to be a different person in a positive way, that is.
And also negative.
And also negative, but like it's in this instance, it sounds like it's actually in the positive direction.
I was in therapy. My therapist was telling me, was congratulating me for the things I've been able to do. And one of the things she said that really stuck was, you taught yourself to be a woman. No one came and showed you how to be a woman, how to sit, how to talk, how to dress. You taught yourself this. But the only way I was able to teach myself this was because I was mirroring the ones who are around me.
Yeah.
Like I used to be very, very vocal. I used to be very loud because the people then who were around me were very loud. That's how they got attention. That's how they got heard. So I thought, okay, that's how you get heard. So let me project my voice and get heard and be controversial. And sometimes you're arguing for things you don't even know, on an agenda that has nothing to do with you. And then I went and met women who were very calm and very, they were okay, they owned their space and they didn't have to shout. And then I was like, oh my God, I never even liked the shouting. You mean I can still be heard? I can still be heard if I am calm and collected and still put my points across. That's what I want. So over the years, I've been looking at the people around me and mirroring the good that I get out of them and letting go of the things that no longer serve me. So that's why I think it's very important to be with the right people in any setting of your life. And I find now imprinting the same on my daughter. But yeah, destiny helpers for me has been very important.
And you've talked about being congratulated by your therapist for some of the milestones that you've been through, or rather that you've gone through and that you've had in terms of an achievement. But before we even get to that, and just going a bit deeper on Destiny Helpers, who are those people for you that, if you were to say, iron sharpens iron, this person for me was iron, this person for me was iron, and also what, like, you had an experience with them that built you.
Yes.
What was that? So who are they, and what was that experience that you had that for you was like pivotal? You've mentioned some, the networks that you met, but then there are some for you that in the story you tell where you come this far, it cannot go without mentioning this and that.
My God, you want us to spend here the whole day.
Deep.
But at the top of my head, I remember having read, when now the diagnosis came, it did not shock me as much because Asunta Wagura was doing a column on one of the magazines or one of the newspapers that I would come across. I don't know how, but I had read 2 or 3 of her columns and I thought,
Of who?
Oh, Asunta Wagura. She was the first woman living with HIV who came out with her status in Kenya, including Dorothy of Warfak. And it was easier because Asunta had shared her story. So without knowing, she had impacted my life with her words. And I've never met her to date, but that was very impactful. Then it helped take the status a bit easier, this HIV status, because I knew she had overcome and she even had a baby. So I was like, okay, I don't know how, but I think then I might, if I want to, I can have a child and I can have a life. She had, I think, a few children, like 3 then. Now I think there are more. She even had twins at the age of 60 the other day. So she now lives in
She had
Canada.
twins at the age of 60.
Yes.
That congratulations, though, you know what I'm saying?
It was news all over, but I know you are not in the
right.
space, so it's hard for you to come across that.
Yeah.
And then Joki, for me, I think, was also another destiny helper. Because that time I got to feel love. It's called unconditional love that is not wanting of anything. It's just is, and opened up her life for me. And for the first time I was proud to be in Dandora, like, yes, it's not the best, but we are here, we live here, and that matters. And I think when I got an opportunity to get into the NGO world and start an organization, that's why Dandora felt like home, felt like where I could do that. Because remember, we moved a lot, so I never really had one singular home, one place I could say I identify with.
Yeah.
Yes, I was
You stayed in Nakuru.
Yes.
You stayed in Nakuru.
Yes.
Mate
We were in
was also-
Isili,
yeah.
we were in Huruma, we were in Madara, we were
And
in...
even coming back from
Yes.
Nakuru, there was still a bit of
Yes,
movement that was
yes,
happening.
yes. So Dandora felt like home, and I think Joki was a big part of that, and her mom, and the work she was doing, and the brothers, and yeah, so that for me was a key milestone. And even when we started Positive Young Women Voices, which was the organization we founded in Dandora, she was one of the founding members of this organization, together with Sister Dash and a few other friends of ours. And the way PWV started, and I think I'm going ahead of myself.
That's all right, we'll come back. We'll always circle back.
Yes, PWV started because a girl that you used to see, those girls that come to your house and they feel like family, but they're in school and you're pushing them to stay in school. And then one day they're not going anymore. And you're thinking, oh, let's come together, fundraise kidogo, because the schools in Dandora are not expensive. The community schools could actually have kids. So we came together and mobilized some few funds here, and then she went back. In 2 months' time, she dropped out. What was the issue? Pregnancy. And I think for the first time I felt what my mom felt when I came home pregnant as a teen. It was painful. I felt real pain. And she was not even my daughter. I had not known her for a long time. But it felt painful because we felt like we were doing something impactful in the community.
That's what you mean, okay.
Yeah. So when we started out, we thought, oh, we are going up, is it down the stream? and not where the stream is starting at. So let's go and see what is in the stream. So the stream for us meant going to schools and finding girls in school before they even drop out or before they even get pregnant. So we started that. Our entry was giving sanitary towels and mentorship. You have big sisters in us. Remember, I think for me, I felt I made so many bad decisions, which was not as many as bad, really, because I didn't have someone to work with me. So I wanted to be that for someone else, and so did my friends. So that's how Positive Young Women Voices came about. Yes.
And so before we continue with Positive Young Women's Voices, I think that in itself is a milestone within your journey of hope, right? And because what I'm hearing is also you then became a destiny helper to other people's lives, and quite literally created an organization based off of that same principle. But once you are done with the beauty pageant, which you said you did not win, but then you won something internally, what did your journey look like after that? Right?
It took time.
Then leading into now starting your NGO.
It took time. It didn't happen as instantaneous as I wanted it to. I would have rather it happened.
Yeah, and it's important to say that because we can compress the timeline of achievements, and then somebody forgets that, oh wait, no, it was actually a lot of folks on the road. It was really hard, you know?
It was.
And that's the thing. It's the in-between before milestones is why we write a book about hope made a way. You know what I mean?
Yes. After that, Rosalind took I think 5 of us. I think we were 5. It was Madonna and her cousin, myself.
How many?
500 came to auditions.
Okay.
100 were selected to stay. 30 were the finalists.
Oh, wow.
And I'd gone through that and I was thinking, these people, are they seeing the way I look ragged? Are they sure? Because I was telling my friend the other day, we were with very pretty chicks. Nairobi has pretty girls. Oh my God. And when I didn't even win, I was like, even my clothes were not given. It was not given.
Now God gave you glory.
But I had favor.
Let this one shine. Favor.
I had
That's
favor. And also because I had dared.
Oh no, but it's not like He gave you so much glory because that you didn't have
Yes.
it. Yeah, you had so much of yours.
And I think He wanted also to remind me that Miss Dimes, Miss Scotch is still you. Yeah, it's not like those were different times, more different than now. Yes, you've become a mother in between and all that, but it's not so different. So Roslyn and Sarah Nana, who were part of the mentors, picked us. I don't know why or how, but they picked the 5 of us, and we would be going to Roslyn Ora's house, which was also her office, and she was starting out. She was figuring what she wants to do. Now she works with widows full time with Rona Foundation, but then she was figuring that out. I think it was 20 years ago because my organization is 10 years or something, around 15 years. So Roslyn and Sarah would bring us, and I remember, maybe this I should not share, but I think I should just share because it's stuck up to date.
Filter. And then tell me, behind closed doors.
I used to, no, let me not share it. But Roslyn, I'm so close. But Roslyn also showed us how to be women.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I think that was the whole reason behind that. How to dress, how to show up, how to talk. It wasn't like, now let's sit down. This is how you dress. It's how you present yourself, and she'd make a comment. And you'd be like, oh, I hadn't actually seen that. That's the other thing about mentorship or people coming to help you. It's not big things. It's not when you sit down for an hour and they tell you, oh, do this, do that. It's very minute things that you pick from that. Because that is the thing I remember about Rosaline more than anything else she ever said. I remember her, and now every time I dress, I remember what she said and dress up to what the standard that she set for us. So we worked with them for some time, and then I don't know, we just didn't anymore. And the other day when I wrote my book, I talked to her because I did feel she was a destiny helper, and she was so happy. She was like, no, I need to go and take back my flock, my gather my flock together because the children went and flew away and became so much better. Madonna is a very big musician in Kenya who sings in Turkana. The other one became a really big model.
Sorry, did you say Madonna?
Madonna,
Okay,
Eureka.
cool. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Madonna
Eureka.
Eureka. You know her?
Yeah, probably not, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but that helped. Philip calling me to Nope also was very helpful because then he opened that door that I did not know what to do with these skills I had gained as a trainer of trainer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been trained by Hope Worldwide.
Yeah, as a peer educator now.
Yes, and now I became trainer of trainers, so I went ahead and trained, and that dream of I will reach people with this story started unfolding.
Right.
First was during this pageant when I told God I'll share this story if I win.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So those were the first people I ever told.
Right.
The 30 girls and the mentors. Those were the first people I ever told. And I remember crying so much. And I think that was one of the reasons why Rosalie took me under her wing, sort of. Nope, the director was there, so he took me also. After that, they sent me to a meeting.
What did that milestone feel like?
That
Because
I breathed. It was like
it's like a sigh of relief of sorts.
Yes. It was so.
Story's not over, but in itself, it's like,
yes.
this is a sigh.
Like I can hope again
Because
because there was so much darkness around me. But now I could hope again. I could dream again. Even going to that newspaper feature was because of Rosaline, and I dreaming that I wanted, to go back to school. I mean, it's not like I performed very well in high school. Like nothing was was working for me if we look at it. But because of this, I was hopeful again, and I was doing the thing I said I would do. I was going to schools and talking to young kids, and I even went to one of the schools I went to, Isili Airport, and talked to kids there and trained them. We were training them for some time, I think a month. Trained them on different things, on sexuality education and all that.
I'm just something that I like about this part is your experiences can give you a mental block that closes so many doors that you would actually end up closing yourself.
Yes.
And I don't blame anyone
Yeah.
for actually doing that, because your experiences could be real enough for you to conclude that it's only right that these doors no longer exist. And that's, what do these milestones feel like is, oh wait, you feel like you can hope again. I think that's so important, right? And that's why
I have people holding on, to hold on to when
Yeah.
it became too much or too hard.
Yeah.
And they were still also opening other doors.
Yeah.
Because it is because of Nope that I was I was fronted to speak at a podium with the president,
Right.
the then president of Kenya,
That's Uhuru
Kenyatta, yes.
Yes.
And we spoke on that podium, and that also saw the birth of Sauti Skika,
Right.
the first network of adolescents and young people living with HIV in Kenya. And I was the founding coordinator, national coordinator. Those were amazing things I would never have done if I was feeling sorry for myself in Dandora, thinking, oh, now I missed my chances, now I nothing will ever happen, nothing will ever go right for me. And with that again, I met other people, and that is how even PYWV was able to even come about, because it's like the door had been opened. You can do this, you have it in you. So if I did not do all those things, which was in now 2013, and the organization I was starting it in around 2017. You see that time? Like there's a time.
So it is
Yes.
like it's a whole
Yeah.
from 13 to,
Yes,
to 17.
yeah.
So it's like 4 years.
Yes.
And in those 4 years, you've been a peer educator, and now you are a coordinator
Yes.
within this. It's like within this organization.
I had traveled to Geneva.
When you traveled for your first time
in
to Europe.
2016.
Yeah.
I had gotten love again.
Oh, you fell in love
Yes.
with now who is
Yes.
is currently
Yes, my current
them
husband.
guys.
Yes.
And I mean no, but
And
but,
had gotten Maya in
oh
2015.
yes.
So a
Was
lot
this
had
and
happened
between
within
that
this
time
time, but it would not have happened if I did not believe this was possible for me, and also something I deserve. Like love was hard. I won't say that was easy, coming about love. When I met,
yeah, thank you.
yeah,
The process of unlearning
yes,
the things that you hold on
yes,
so true.
yes.
What is that like? Yeah.
I tried dating. You're young, you're beautiful, so people will come about and want to date you. And that was hard. That was hard, honestly. I got the best and the worst, and sometimes I was scared. So there was a guy I met because I was doing this marketing in Nakumat. And Nakumat was during Nakumat Mego, Nakumat Lifestyle. Lifestyle
Lifestyle is down in town.
Yes, the one that was in town. So I was working there, and you know there are all kinds of caliber of people. But I felt like this guy was too much for me. Like I was not up to par. So that didn't work out. And then there are others where I would tell them of my status and they would leave me when we're dining or something. Others would just want to take advantage of you and just learning the dynamics of relationships. So it was a whole lot. The point I met my husband, I had taken time off like a year because the last relationship before that, I had met someone when I was I was registering a company at Sharia House, and we were still doing that. So I was at Sharia House and I was queuing and he was queuing and we were complaining that the queue was too long, and I don't know how it ended up that it was a date and he was inviting me for Christmas at his house.
Oh, usually I think we call those smooth operators. It's like you don't know how you find yourself in those positions, but you're there. It's a smooth operation.
So that one put me under the bed because the mom
Like
came.
in darkness. Oh,
No,
sorry.
the mom came. And I didn't know the house he told me his was his mom's.
Okay.
Embarrassment.
Oh, snap. Put you quite literally under the bed.
Under
Sorry,
the
I took
bed.
it as a phrase.
No, under the bed.
Oh, wow, okay.
So after that I was like, hey, I don't know where I'm going, but it's not where I thought I would go. Let me break. Let me just focus on
And
Jesus.
you're like, oh, by the time you're controlling your breathing, I've always wondered what it is like to be put under the bed. It's like,
It's so bad. It's so bad. You don't want to experience that in your life.
Wait.
Or in the closet.
But did you have sort of interaction with this person? You know, like it was something intimate and like
Yes, we were planning a wedding, and he had said
exactly.
it would go on wedding show. And he was lying. I was just killable. It's me. It's not him. I became too trusting. You know.
They call it gullible, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then that became your indication that you need to give yourself some time to.
And just even
Is that
realize what I
heal?
want.
Oh, okay, so it's heal and re-establish you, and then now enter into a space where now you're inviting other people.
So by the time the Beto came, I was not looking.
You were in.
I was not looking.
Okay.
So it also felt easier to be with him because he's not looking, I was not looking, and we built a friendship even before it became dating. And it was also easy for me to tell him of my status, and if it goes, it's okay. I'm not too attached to this.
No, I hear you.
And he stayed, and it was very fast, I think, which was scary, but everything happened so fast for us.
Okay.
Me and Bebeto, we really took things very fast. We dated for a month. The second month we moved in together.
Oh, that's
In third month, I don't know, fourth month I was pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
But it worked out. I don't know how, but it worked out.
And that's another milestone for you. Finding love in a
love.
genuine way.
Yes.
Fairly rushed,
Yes.
but in a genuine way.
Yes. And it stayed. It's love that came and stayed.
And that's part of the unlearning thing, right?
Yes.
And in a sense that like your experiences in closing doors it takes quite a bit to open them again, which is why these milestones are so pivotal for a person in terms of just the way you said it, I can hope again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can actually challenge a perspective that I thought was true for my life.
And also believe you deserve good things.
That's another thing that you
Yes.
said, and I actually wanted to pick up on
Yeah.
it. I deserve these things.
Yes, I deserve good
You
things.
know, a lot of people want something that I'm grateful for my brother for the day I graduated, and we had you just do like a dinner, that type of a thing. And one of the things that he said, like for your life, Moses, I want you to dare to be ambitious.
Yeah.
You would not try ambition if you don't think you deserve what's on the other side of an
Exactly.
ambitious move.
Oh,
Right?
that one should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I know, it's quite long. You know what I mean?
It can be shortened,
No,
but
but-
it makes so much sense.
And it's part of that journey towards coping again.
Mhm.
That ambition should not be thought of something that is unachievable
Yes.
for anyone that believes that they can do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Right?
It starts with your mind. So right now, when you're asking me what had happened, I think since we last met, I was working on my website and launched that.
Yes, yeah, that
I
was those
tried
things.
to keep up with doing monthly
Newsletters.
weekly
Posts.
newsletter.
Yeah, weekly newsletters.
I could not manage. I did for some time, but then I could not. And then I also, funny thing that I think we might think that does not happen. Even with everything happening so well for me, I got into a really major depression.
Really.
Yes, that's why I was talking of therapy. That's very recent. And nothing was making sense anymore. Everything is working the way you think you should be working, but it's not working at par. Because I am ambitious. When you say ambitious, I am really ambitious. And I want things to happen as fast. Like I forgot, I didn't get to where I was in a day or in a year. Like that took time. That took time. When I'm talking of 2013 to now, that took time. And I was feeling like I don't have time anymore. So that took me into some depressive episode. But luckily I got out of it without ruining so much of my life. But then when I was really like losing it, I was appointed to the NSDCC board, National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, to their board of directors, and that was another ride. And through that, I also met other people now I'm seeing are my destiny helpers, including recently being introduced to Piero Lumumba. Piero
That's what you
Lumumba
took a
read
picture
my
with
book.
him, yeah.
Imagine, he read my book. These are people you see on TV and you're thinking, that's just someone I would never meet. And then that also reinvigorated, I hope I've said it right. That's why I don't use big words. It sparked that idea of, actually there was a time I wanted to meet Beyonce. There was a time I wanted to meet Oprah. There was a time I wanted to meet Tyler Perry. And if I can meet Piero Lumumba, a professor who's interested in what I do and is calling me to his office and getting interested, he's a destiny helper. I'm already seeing it. I'm piecing together all that. But it also opens up that this ambition is not in vain.